Hey foodie friends, what are we going to make today? We're going to turn 58 cents worth of mac and cheese into something really tasty. Let's do it. So after 60 years on this earth, and the probably 40 years that I've been cooking, I finally realized the other day when I made mac and cheese for the husband that, they tell you to put all your ingredients in afterwards. To boil your noodles and then strain them and put the milk and your butter in. Half a stick of butter, that's what it calls for, 4 tablespoons. And the other day I decided I wanted it to be better and elevated a little bit. So what I did was boiled the noodles, drained them really well, and in another pot I melted my butter. I put the milk in that it calls for, just a little bit, I think it's like 1/8 of a cup. And then I put 2 pieces of American cheese in. And the reason I use American cheese is it's not stringy, and actually I like creamy. The husband and I used to put cheddar cheese and stuff, and like in your chili and stuff, and you go to eat it and you got this big long strings of cheese and it's on your chin and on your shirt possibly. So trust me, if you want creamy and still yummy, put some American cheese in it. I go with the white American cheese. The yellow is fine too, but if you look in the ingredients, all the yellow is it had food coloring in it. So that's the only difference there. So after melting the butter and the milk, I like to add onion powder, not onion salt, you'll see why. Garlic powder, and a little bit of, in my case, I just do low sodium salt because us older people like lower sodium, but you can use whatever salt, but I like to add a little bit. But the secret ingredient for me is grated Romano cheese. Now, if you got Parmesan cheese, try it. You'll love that too. But my husband was like, I'm not really as big in Parmesan by itself. So sometimes I get a Parmesan blend. I forget what the third cheese is, but it was Parmesan Romano and something else. But Romano is my favorite now because it's very flavorful yet mild at the same time. It's not like, doesn't have a strong smell. So that's my secret ingredient. So let's get cooking. So while I'm getting the water to a boil, I like to put in just a little bit of oil. Or you could put in a little bit of butter, just a little bit, and it keeps the pasta from sticking as easily while it's boiling. And I forgot to mention that also in the melted liquid portion, I'm going to put their packet of cheese and seasoning in there. And don't forget, you can always add, but you can't take away. So when it comes to your seasonings, I'm going to put some in the beginning in this pan for the sauce portion, but you can taste test it when it's done and then add a little more of whatever it is you want, be it the garlic or onion powder or salt or whatever. So we're going to get this to a boil and then dump it in. So beware, your sauce packet's in there, so don't throw all that in the boiling water. Got to go in and get that. And that's what it looks like. And you can't rip it open. Don't try to rip it open. It'll end up all over your kitchen floor. Just cut it open. So in the meantime, let's get the cheese sauce, butter sauce going. You're going to cook this sauce on low, especially if you've got other things going on, like you're paying attention to the noodles. And in my case, I've got some chicken on the grill. I'll have to show that to you too. You'll want to measure out your 1/8 of a cup, but I have a pretty good idea after 60 years. Now we're getting to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and put in my noodles. And you want to stir them right away. Again, incorporating that oil in there a little bit with the water. And it gives them just a slight coating so they don't stick. It's just a trick that my mom taught me years ago. And I saw it on food channels. Shoot, over the years, when TV was still good, I used to watch all those food channels on TV. I learned all kinds of stuff from that. And while this is cooking, let me know, how do you guys like to do your mac and cheese? Okay, so the noodles are getting going. Now I can go ahead and put my cheese packet in, because while that water was boiling, I wanted to get those noodles started. So I'm gonna put my cheese packet in. See, I barely touched it. Cheese, some of the stuff took off this way. This is like the worst way to package it. If they had a little thing where you can rip it, would be nicer. And And what I like to do to get this sauce started is actually whisk it once it starts to melt to make sure that everything gets incorporated together. And you want to be real careful if you're doing it with a, was like Teflon pans. I don't use those anymore, but just be careful not to scratch your pan up. But see, when you whisk it, it actually mixes it better, even though the cheese hasn't melted all the way. And then you can kind of take over with your stirring spoon. I have this completely on low. I'm just going to melt it nice and slowly. I'll show it to you once it's completely melted down. I'll turn this down a little bit so it doesn't boil over. And it said like 7 to 9 minutes on the noodles. Now me personally, I like them to be a little bit softer. So I don't pay attention to the time. I don't even set a timer. And as they get a little bit softer, you can tell they kind of blow up a little bit. Like right now, let's see if I can get some. It's like trying to catch a fish in a pond. See how they're really tiny right now? So once they start getting bigger in size, then you can start taste testing to see its tenderness. You don't want to walk away really when you're doing this, especially the sauce. It's pretty cool though. Look how it's starting to come along. I mean, look at that. You could put that on anything. It would be delicious. Some steamed broccoli. Husband wouldn't, but I would. Some steamed cauliflower. The husband wouldn't, but I would. Let's see. Asparagus. He wouldn't, but I would. What would you put your own little cream sauce on? I'm going to check on my chicken, and I'll be right back. I wouldn't worry about if you taste test your cheese sauce early if you think it's too salty, because it has to be salty enough to cover all of these noodles, and it's going to soak in as it sits in the noodles too. You'll see. But I will say, I'm going to taste test it just a little bit, because I know it's probably going to be yummy. And it is. And I'm telling you what right now, that Romano cheese is the bomb. It is the secret ingredient. But that onion powder, garlic powder, you're going to love that in there. So if you notice, they're starting to get a little bit bigger, but they're still kind of tiny. So let's cook them a little bit more. You can try it now if you want. Of course, it's blazing hot. But I know I want them a little bit puffier. And yeah, all these years the box tells you to do the noodles, then throw the stuff on the noodles, and it always clumped up and it never meshed right. And that is why I thought the other day, why not just make a cheese sauce? And then I thought, why not throw all this other stuff in it that I know is going to be good, and then mix it all together. Try it, see how you like it, and let me know. All right, we're almost there. Drum roll, please. Hopefully it all makes it in here. But there's plenty of room in this size pot for this. But if you're going to make it for, a much bigger family, you're going to do 2 boxes or more, and just double your ingredients. Then go ahead and get a bigger pot. And when you're done mixing it, you're going to let it sit for a little bit, because those noodles are going to soak up all that beautiful flavor. So guys and gals, it's that easy. So let's go ahead and let it sit for a little bit, and we're going to give it a try. And then when the husband gets home, he's going to give it a try. But while we're waiting on this to soak up the wonderful flavors, let's go out and see what's on the grill. Got to have something with mac and cheese, right? Can a man or woman live on mac and cheese alone? Probably so. Let's go look. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to set up a little bit, and it's starting to soak it up a little bit more. And let it cool down just a little bit more, and I'm gonna give it a try. And don't forget, you can always add, but you can't take away, and that's why I just put a little bit of each seasoning. I don't do teaspoons and half teaspoons and all those. I should, but I don't for you new cooks. But really, just sprinkling a little bit that you see, just shake, or whatever, if it's a 1 shake, or you can always do less, and then you can always add, but you can't take away. So just try it and then taste test as you go. All right, so while the chicken's cooking away on the grill there, I'm going to give this a shot. It looks really creamy, really good. That's to die for. you don't believe me, try it. All right, so it's sizzling away. We're gonna have Brian give it a try here. He just got home from work. How was your day, honey?
My day was great.
Oh, that's lovely. Anyways, enough of that. Give it a try, see what you think.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks nice and creamy.
Hopefully it's not too hot. What do you taste in there? Does it taste good?
Taste a lot of cheese. I taste some kind of, let me see here again.
It doesn't have Parmesan because I know you don't like Parmesan that much.
There's some kind of a taste, but I don't know what it is. Probably garlic or something, maybe.
Yep, you got it. He's not much of a foodie, but he's learning.
Definitely not a foodie.
So it has garlic powder and onion powder and Romano cheese, which is my secret ingredient.
Oh yeah, I could taste that.
And 2 slices of American cheese.
Yeah, I can taste that too.
And of course this cheese packet that came with it and just a touch of salt extra.
Yeah.
But that's 58 cents worth of mac and cheese.
That's 58 cents worth it.
Is it gourmet?
Good. It's gourmet.
Yay!
It's definitely gourmet. It's yummy.
I'm glad you love it. And that's how you make 58-cent mac and cheese amazing. And if you like these type of videos, it would be a huge honor to have you subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.